Thank you, Councillor Boyack, followed by Robin Harper.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Like colleagues, I want to congratulate Jackie Baillie both for the timely and important motion she has put in front of us tonight. And I will also want to add my thanks to Citizens Advice Scotland for the hard work and research and policy briefings they have provided, not just for today, but consistently over the years, to make sure that we are informed not just about the national picture, but crucially about the local constituency issues and about what is actually happening in our communities. And I think the choice of the phrase drowning in debt sums up the helplessness, the despair, the sense of people going under, overwhelmed with debt, that people must feel who are in that circumstances. And I'd like to add my comments that the services that the CEB network provide are absolutely vital. From a visit to my local CEB office in Gorgidal Rye, I know that the numbers of people seeking help are substantially up from last year, and I do want to record my thanks to the volunteers and staff for keeping that service going even though they are under pressure. And while I would not want to exaggerate the situation, it is clear that the combination of recession and the steady loss of jobs in Edinburgh in the financial and banking sector is taking a severe toll on many households. And I know that in Edinburgh, if you look at the statistics, the number of job vacancies is half what it was this time of year. And we know that the unemployment rate is going up as well. So what is clear is that many people are struggling to keep their heads above water. And the statistics show that their key vulnerable groups are those already on low incomes for whatever reason, and they simply do not have savings to fall back on just to get through hard times. People who are in negative equity are now not able to sell their house, settle their debts and move to the rented sector. That choice simply is no longer available to them. So it is a deeply worrying time, and I do think Jackie Baillie's motion is extremely well written. She has also spoken eloquently tonight, and I agree with her that it is vital that people who are already in debt are not ruled out of financial assistance on grounds of lack of money. Now, to a lot of people, £100 does not sound a huge amount of money, but if you are already in debt, £100 could be a completely insurmountable barrier, and I do hope that we can add our weight to lobbying to change that situation. As I have said, by the time people seek help, they are highly likely to have already exhausted their funds, any help from family, and it is human nature to try and survive. But for some people, it has become impossible to cope, and we need to work together to try and ensure that our Citizens Advice Bureau network is robust, is properly funded, and is capable of helping people to the level that they need it. If you look at the statistics just for my own constituency and Edinburgh, in Edinburgh people in debt are likely to have 5 debts each. They are also likely to have more debts than the Scottish average. They are likely to have complex debts and complex cases that need face-to-face support from money advisors, probably more than one visit to a CEB office, and that means they are taking a disproportionate amount of time, tough case to solve. I have previously written to ministers, not Alex Neil, his predecessor, to urge them to provide more support for people in financial crisis. I know over the years, when we have lobbied the Scottish Executive, Scottish Government, UK Government, amounts of money have been provided, and certainly last year's credit crunch money was hugely welcome. But I do want to send a note of caution. The allocation of the debt money last year, although it was welcome to come to Scotland, it was distributed in such a way that it disadvantaged the CEB network in Edinburgh. Over a couple of years ago, the network pooled together and the 5 offices came together as one organisation. Now that has ruled them out of each applying as individual CEB offices for grants, for bursaries, and crucially for the credit crunch money, they only got the allocation that in other parts of the country would have gone to one bureau. In Edinburgh, it had to go around 5 bureaux. So I do hope that should there be extra money coming this year, that the Minister will add his weight to looking for a fairer distribution method. I both met the CA Scotland network last year, and I also made representations to ministers. I understand the variety of pressures that were on for not a huge amount of money, but a significant amount of money. And what I'd hope to urge tonight is that should more money come back to us again this year, if there is a repeat, which I would strongly welcome, I would hope that a look would be taken at the formula for distribution and to make sure that Edinburgh doesn't lose out in the way we lost out last year. Thank you, Presiding Officer.